Today, on This American Dice, who hunts whom? After discovering Soshi Seiryoku's dark shrine, Taiyo worries for the safety of his family in a city with dark forces rearing their hideous heads. Someone shows up who should help fight the darkness, but brings with him suspicion and danger. And Yugare is asked to help Taiyo's children be safe from darkness. But is it something external Taiyo fears, or something in them? Find out today on This American Dice.
All right, yeah, so you wreck up this place for sure. Yugare eventually kind of comes back to after you've destroyed that shrine.
Yugare.
What? You wake up, and the whole room is wrecked. There's all these severed fingers all over the floor.
I think he scampers back, like he's not stood up, and he
Oh, you fell down?
I think he collapsed elegantly, but then he comes to and sees the fingers just some of them are super close because they spilled out, and he's on the floor, and he wakes up and sees them and just crawls quickly away.
Okay. And Taiyo is not here.
What happened here?
A large city surrounded by green walls and acres of poppy fields. A group of monks travel toward the city, exchanging prayers for whatever alms the poor peasants of the countryside can spare. In the noble quarter, we see a beautiful but imposing palace and a foreign-looking minareted estate. In the temple quarter, we see the glistening white temple of the sun goddess with a 60-foot pole topped by a shimmering golden spear, and the temple of the fortune of wealth with its towering statue of the patron god of the city. Next door, in the merchant quarter, we see busy streets with noisy merchants selling wares from all over Rokugan and beyond. On the other side of the Bay of Drowned Honor, the fisherman's quarter, dirtier with poorer commoners, meaner gangs, and shabby dwellings amid the docks and warehouses. We pass the leatherworkers' quarter, the home of the Ada, the Untouchables, and the only building of notice there, the city crematorium. Finally, we arrive at Teardrop Island, the license quarter, with its perpetual twilight of hanging lanterns, fine sake and geisha houses. We follow a man in a basket hat as he's beckoned inside by a beautiful geisha. He enters and removes his hat. We see one of the monks from the beginning. Ryoko Owari, City of Lies.
What's Ishii up to?
Wow, I have to go talk to Joshua.
Okay. Do you head to the Shusura Palace? Do you head to the big dragon tower where they sometimes run stuff for the Thunder Guard out of? Or the Civil Hall?
The tower's outside of town, right? Or no?
The tower is inside town. It's near the Dragon Gate.
Oh, okay. I guess I'd go to the tower first because that's closest.
Okay.
But then after, if I couldn't find him there, I'd go to the palace.
Yeah, you kind of get a runaround, and people will basically tell you they'll say as soon as he we'll let you know as soon as he's here.
Cool, thanks, man.
And so if you go back home, they can check. They can send you a message.
So I can't find him. I don't know where these three guys are. I tried to meet up with them, and then they just kind of ran off. And there was nobody there when I got there to the other firesides. I was like, all right, nobody's here, I guess. Can't find Jocho. I'm going to go to the Civil Hall and ask Hugo Sako if she knows where Jocho could be.
Yogo Sako is there.
Well, I'm going to talk to her about the fires, actually.
Okay.
But with a slant on, talk to her about it.
Yeah. She seems pretty busy, but she'll make time for you. And so you can kind of come in, and there's people who kind of keep coming up, and servants keep whispering things, or someone from the Thunder Guard will come up and whisper a thing to her, or they'll hand her something and she'll look at it. And she just says, Ishii-san, good morning.
Saka-san, it is, in my opinion, it's not a wonderful morning, but thank you for the nicety. The fires on the countryside looked to have been quite disastrous. I was wondering if you need any help, or if perhaps Jojo needs any help with tending to the city.
She says they've got it under control. Once the fires went out, they're simply making sure that everything's safe.
Do we know what happened? Was it the bandit fade, or perhaps those cultists?
She said, no, either of those things. We would certainly let you know about those things as they would fall under your jurisdiction.
But do you have any idea of who did this?
And she basically kind of just says like we've got it, or like the Thunder Guard have it, and we'll figure all this stuff out. Fires happen out in the countryside too sometimes.
Okay, I want to play it up as though I am more concerned, as if I was just one of the nobles that lived in the nobles' quarter and there's a fire near my home. I want to play it up like that and try to manipulate her into trying to ease my fears. Do you know what I mean?
Sounds like you're reading her.
I want to act super concerned.
Mm-hmm.
As if oh my gosh, there was a fire right there, and I live right here. Why was there a fire right there?
Okay.
And you know what you do when somebody's freaking out about something? You give them more and more to try to calm them down. I'm trying to influence her into maybe doing that.
That one's going to be rough, because what are you giving her that she wants, or that she might want?
Me getting out of her office and leaving her alone in this trying time. Because right now I'm taking up all her time, and I see servants coming in time and time again, bothering her more and more.
Sure. I see that.
Because it's a bullshit thing. I just got a degree.
Big crab crybaby won't leave.
I just wish he would leave.
Yeah.
God. I think I popped this guy up to a 0. I did. So that's an 8.
It's an 8. Okay, still pretty good. So you're going to need concrete assurance.
Concrete assurance. I think that I'll just leave as soon as you give me more. I just need to know that. I just want to know what's going on. I mean, the fire was it was right outside the Nobles' Quarter. It was so close. I don't even want to think what would happen if our residence, is that what's going on?
Sure.
Our residence was burned down. What would happen to Yugare's whole family? And I don't even know.
And she'll say, I understand your concern for the homes of those in the Noble Quarter, but firefighting duties are not something that you need to worry about. If you drop these matters and solely focus on your jurisdiction to make sure that we can get to this, that we can handle what we need to do without interference, then...
I don't want to bother you any more than I already have. I don't know, man.
Yeah. So what she's basically saying is you got to swear that you'll drop bothering her about stuff that isn't specifically your jurisdiction.
Overall? Sure. I'll yeah.
Oh, that's all it takes?
I'm going to investigate her, but I won't bother her anymore. I'll investigate her later.
Okay.
That's my own thing going on.
Sure.
I won't bother her.
Okay.
This extra shit.
Sure. And she says, well, the fires were put out. There were some people injured, but structures within the city, there were no structures destroyed within the city.
Okay. So let's see what's going on. All right. Well, thank you so much. Thank you so much. It's just a concerning sight to see the country on fire. I'm sorry to bother you on such a busy day. And then I excuse myself and leave and start looking for these guys because they haven't checked in and they were not where I expected them to be.
Okay.
I don't know what's going on.
Sure. Well, you know where all these, where he lives as well.
I know where they live,
yeah.
But I don't know where
But you're just looking for these guys?
I'm looking for all 3 of them, so I would probably pop by the residence and see nobody there. Probably pop by his house, see nobody there. Or whatever I would see there.
I don't think we talked before we got there, right? You talked to those 3.
Mm-hmm. Well, what?
When we went to look at the fires.
Yeah, I was just we'll meet up later. But then I ran back because I didn't spend too long, and I came back and you guys were already gone.
Yeah, I don't think.
So I don't know where you guys
supposed
are.
To meet up.
Yeah, but I don't know where you guys are at all. So that's what I'm looking for you.
Oh, so where are you guys headed next? Again, just tell me where you're headed. So you're looking to meet up with everybody.
I'm looking for
you guys are...
I don't know where anybody is or what's going on. This is way juicy.
Because you're the only 2 in the same, and it makes sense. I mean, you're wearing the same color. So...
oh, shit, they are. Gotta color coordinate next time.
What's the game plan for you guys?
What if I use my pants?
The magistrate residence.
It's not good.
I kind of wanted to, like, hang out here and see if I can, like, figure out what kind of rituals happened in this place.
This seems like a good idea.
All right.
So
Cool. So you're going to hang out. You're heading back to the magistrate's residence, and we know where you're going for sure. All right. So we're gonna go to Taiyo as you like burst through the door.
Yeah.
Okay.
So dramatic. I love it.
So you burst through the door. One of your kids like looks at you and is like real scared. I think hearing that, Ample gets up like, "Oh no!" Like thinking like something had gone on, and then like when they see that it's you, it's not as bad. But yeah, like you really scare the hell out of one of your kids. Like they see you just real nuts looking for a second.
That's fine. And probably just like
Fuck those kids. They're 3 who they won't remember.
probably just like grab him and like creepily like check all his fingers.
Yeah,
That's super
They're like,
weird.
Like, oh, Daddy, what are you doing?
And if they're all there, I assume.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they look fine.
Like, where's your brother and mother?
Oh, and they come out pretty soon.
I might just like carry him and just like
yeah,
panically check the room.
and they're in like the more kind of private area of the house, doing something, and your wife Suki, right?
Nope,
No, that's
Hikari.
your name.
My name is Suki.
Her name is
Hikari.
Hikari says like, "Is everything all right? I heard a commotion."
No.
And I think Ample goes like, "Yeah, everything." He starts to talk,
I think I'm gonna do that same creepy thing and check everyone's
and
fingers.
she's like, "What are you doing?
So weird.
Please!" And kind of because it's like this big giant dude is right here. We shouldn't be touching each other in front of this guy.
Oh, true.
Yeah, but she's like, what are you?
I'll say, how long is it?
And she has the other kid with her.
Yeah.
Or no, she's walking. A servant has the other kid. That's more caste system appropriate.
Oh, what's that jerk's name?
Your
Ridden. Checking the other kids.
Yeah,
too.
and she's like, "What is happening?" And
I'll say, has anyone been here? Has anyone?
she says, one of the servants went out to go get produce for tonight's dinner, but aside from coming back, and Ample's here."
And has anyone? How long has it been? Like, what time is it? Still like the morning, I assume.
Probably it's maybe at the latest. It's like 10 or 11 a.m. at the latest.
Yeah.
Probably it's 10 a.m.
So I've been gone for like an hour or two, maybe.
Well, remember, you guys saw that fire was going on and probably headed that way before the sun even rose.
Okay.
You probably
a
got
few
there
hours.
around dawn.
That makes
Dealt
sense.
with that for a little bit. Went to Seiryoku's place. We're dealing with that for a little bit.
Yeah, probably a good number of hours.
Yeah, so at the latest 10 a.m. Let's just say that for the hell of it.
Yep. Sounds good. The hour of the
Tens.
The 10's hour.
Yeah. Does everything seem okay?
Go ahead and read a situation.
Yeah. I'll do that.
Not bad.
11.
Pretty good. Nothing seems out of the ordinary as you look around. It's
I mean, yeah.
it's weirdly quiet as like you are the most like kind of like energetic thing in here. Everything else seems very peaceful. Probably your heart is pounding in your chest, and like you can do that thing where you can maybe like feel it in your head.
Oh yeah, I hate that. Well, the big question I wanted was, what's my enemy's true position?
Here you go. You're good. You got away.
The thing that you fear is not in the city right now. And I think you think I don't know how that comes to you, but you like kind of like look around and kind of like gain like a peaceful you kind of like start to become more at ease maybe, and that you kind of look out a window or look off into the distance and see like think to yourself, if something is really that evil and that powerful, does physical distance mean that much? And just like it kind of almost hits you like, oh crap, if whatever I'm thinking about as an enemy is really that powerful, the confines of this city don't mean anything. Like distance is no longer important. Like physical distance is no longer that important.
Okay. That's not the greatest answer. I mean, as a character, like, that's bad news.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Also
you basically all of your attention focuses to outside of the city, so not within it at the moment.
Right.
But you're focusing on whatever the hell nightmare you imagined happened to your children.
Yeah. What should I be on the lookout for?
Lookout for.
Watch out for that.
They're bad news, hombre.
Oh, you've heard stories and legends about people, especially priests, Shigenja, who've been able to gain phenomenal, fantastic power through practicing dark magic that involves specifically the spilling of blood, especially human blood. And you think back to that shrine, and you're like, I might be out of my depth on this one. Like, uh-oh.
The Mayo?
Yes, and
Mayo
you remember that term exactly, Meiho Sukai, like slaves to magic. There's some kind of weird translation that they have with it that I could look for it, but yeah, they're the dark, evil mages.
Wait, Mayo Ski?
Sure.
Suki or Ski is like, Mayo is like evil, dark.
Oh, and you remember that Matsu Shigeko had specifically said that she had at times thought about calling an inquisitor or a witch hunter to look into Soshi Seiryokyu.
Who was that person?
Matsu Shigeko was the magistrate prior to Naritoki.
Yeah.
So this is like several years ago, she had been like, this woman puts me at ease, and I have contemplated sending for someone to look into this.
I feel like there might be better questions here, but I feel like Taiyo would actually ask what's the best escape route? Like how do I get around this, I guess.
How do you get around this?
Yeah, or like how would I be safe from this?
You don't seem like you are its target. You remember back to all of your dealings with Soshi Seiryokyu, and are trying to think like, if she were, like, what reason would she have to come after me? Mm-hmm. And you kind of feel to yourself, so if I back away from all this opium business and these other people who you know she was pissed with, you probably would not be the big concern.
Okay.
So you knew that was a thing that she was not happy about.
Yeah, that's bad. I think maybe the end of that scene is going to be dramatic. Just realizing all of that, let's still have Hikari's hands, and I'll be like, all right, start making plans. Like after this birthday, like just like next week, basically go back to Bayushi Estate. Go back home for the winter at least.
You guys get back to your place, and the servants are already like, "Oh, you have a visitor. Let's say you guys arrive at relatively the same time. You have a visitor. He's inside."
Okay, who is it? Who is it?
And she says, "It's one of the maids." She says, "He's a samurai, but he was dressed very strange. I don't know. He just pushed right past me."
Audrey, let's take care of this quickly. We have to go.
Where is he?
You quickly figure out that this is a person who's in your room.
Just in my room?
Mm-hmm. All right. As you guys kind of rush back to Ishii's quarters, there's a man standing there, and he's just going through your things, kind of like poking at them. Standing at an average height, it's not this man's size that makes him intimidating. He turns around, and the thing that bothers you is his eyes. This 50-something-year-old man has a pale, piercing eye that stares out at the world and seems to judge it. His other eye sits in a scarred socket and is milky white. Perhaps it was lost in some brutal battle with a creature too hideous to name, or perhaps he himself cut it out to better allow him to focus on what is pure and what has been tainted by evil. His long white hair, pulled back in more of a ponytail than a topknot, and his thin receding hairline show his years of work as a witch hunter, a Sukai Sagasu, an inquisitor, the one who determines who is unsullied and who is corrupted. His clothing is made of thick, unclean leather, and his daisho looks old and weathered, something that matches the unshaven facial hair of his face. Jade jewelry adorns him, but is overshadowed by the inch-wide red circle painted on his forehead. And in his hand, he holds your badge of the Emerald Magistrates.
Cool, great.
Well, we gotta read about that
and
the witch hunter.
And he turns and says, I assume that you're Ishi then.
Oh yes, I sent a letter a month ago. I sent a letter quite some time ago asking for some help. There was a cult out in the foothills just north of town that had summoned a...
And he's like just fiddling with this.
They just summoned a giant bird demon. There was a bird demon with a long tongue that ended in a woman's face.
And he just seems to be going through your things.
Ended in a woman's face, and my weapons were unable to pierce its hide. It killed 3 or 4 people I was there, or something. He killed a lot of people.
Damn much.
He killed 4 people there and has not been spotted since.
And he says, sometimes there are people who can't resist reaching into the dark.
Cute.
And they don't realize that they're not pulling out anything for them. They're being pulled in.
What are you looking for?
Well, that seemed to happen. The 2 of the men who led the cult were killed by the demon itself.
Go ahead and both of you guys make bold rolls.
I'm gonna do that. This boy seems like not a cool boy.
I got an 8.
An 8?
I got a 9.
Yeah, plus 3 on both. All right.
I got a 9.
Okay.
What a 10.
I think this guy just says, well, clearly you boys couldn't handle it.
Yes, such is why I called for you, sir. It was far beyond our capabilities as magistrates of the law. We're not well equipped for bird demons.
He says, a crab warrior. I don't expect to hear that. Given up so willingly from him that he's not equipped to deal with the creatures that come out of the darkness.
Well, I've done things like this for long enough to know when it is right to ask for help. And it is always right to ask for help when an entire city is in danger. Being swallowed.
He says,
Real shit, but no.
well, it looks like I'll be looking into this.
Thank you so much. That'd be an incredible help. Currently, I have some guards, some
No, you don't.
guards outside the They're dead now?
No, I have those guards.
That's fine. I suppose you could have those 3 soldiers for a time.
I do. They're the ones who called me.
What happened to my correspondence then?
So, we received your correspondence as well as correspondence from your soldiers.
And
He says some of them thought your commands to be unwise.
should I not have men? Should I not have had men guarding the caves while waiting word from the witch hunters?
He says, we'll see if that was the issue.
Okay. All right. The city is unlike home. It's a very unwelcoming place. I'll try to make it easier for you to move about the city and do your business.
He looks at Aji, and he kind of like looks you over for a little while, and says, make sure you don't stand in the way. Then he leaves.
Yeah.
You guys can essentially have the scene you were trying to have when you showed up.
The scene I wanted to have was, hey, what's going on with the other 2 folks? Tell me what's happened. What has happened? What did you find at the other bird side? I found just about nothing out there other than a bunch of Thunder Guard who didn't want to tell me anything, but they looked as though they'd been in a fight.
Well, Yugare had a vision about... So there was a barge
Yes?
that was attacked by Shugenja with fire. Like, according to one of the men on the barge, the whole ship exploded into flames and the crew had to jump. And then he saw crates flying into the air heading towards the city.
Oh, really? Sounds like similar things happened. I almost felt like it was something supernatural that happened out in those fields.
Yeah. Yugare had a vision of the crates floating towards the city, and then we went to Seiryokyu's house.
Oh, the big scorpion?
The scorpion Shugenja. There's this creepy, it was abandoned. There's a shrine.
Okay.
All of a sudden, Taiyo ran out of the house, and then, Yugare was just looking blank, drooling a little. So,
oh my.
I drew my sword and destroyed the shrine, and then I was heading back to the residence, go call for backup, and then when I got here, I thought Yugare was behind me, but he wasn't.
Yugare is not here?
No.
We have to find him. Could he have stayed at the house, maybe?
That's my best guess. He's probably there.
Well, we should head there for anything else. Do you know where Taiyo ran off to, or is he just...
No clue.
Well, I'd say we focus on Yugare and make sure that he's safe.
Let's do it.
I have a very bad feeling about this whole state of affairs.
So you guys are heading back to Seiryoku's house?
My friend. Yes.
I figure Yugare doesn't really know what this is.
Mm-hmm.
But after poking around a little more, maybe, and probably can't make much of it, tries meditating. I don't know what Yugare could try that would, but yeah, that's what he wants to do. Is just like figure out what this spirit was, or who did it. Or, I mean, I guess who did it maybe it's answered by whose house it is, but what is the purpose of this ritual? What is the origin of this type of magic?
It sounds like you're either reading a situation or communing with the kami.
Yeah.
Unless you have a more specific thing that you're doing.
Kami, what's the situation?
Let's do the commune with the kami. That sounds good.
Sure.
5.
5.
You get experience.
Ooh.
This one actually has the perfect downside on a miss.
I'm excited.
Although we kind of did that scene already.
Yeah, we already did that. So
We already murdered you once.
Oh yeah. I think you good?
I had a plan of what I was going to do, which is kind of reckless and dumb.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe this failure is like part of it. Yugare wants to burn down the house.
Okay.
So now that I know there's this... Yugare doesn't know, but now that I know there's like a witch hunter in town, I feel kind of dumb. But I already decided Yugare wants to burn down this house.
Sure. I think you... Oh, awesome. That works. Okay. So you go to... light a candle or something like that.
I have a fire kami.
That's true.
Oh.
So yes, you can light a torch and pretty quickly do this. But this fire spreads way faster than you imagined, and pretty soon you find that you are far more that you have not exactly left yourself a way out. Kind of in your haste to burn this stuff, you didn't leave an exit strategy here.
Good plan.
And with you and the fire kami, especially the fire not being like a completely natural thing, and your kind of zeal to destroy this, this fire gets out of control very, very quickly. And
Well, they had to act under fire.
Yeah.
In this game.
So, but this is a real hard move with that failure. So what I think is going to happen is getting out of this, you're going to get pretty messed up. I think you're going to take at least 2 damage or 2 harm and make a harm roll.
You're healed up by now, right?
I haven't been instructed to heal anything, so...
We have not been instructed to heal for so many sessions.
Yeah, dude. Was that long? No, that was a week. So yeah, you can heal another one. So you have 1 less than you have now, 1 fewer than you have now.
Alright, and then I'm rolling +2.
So are you dead or
Yes,
not?
you roll +2. We want to roll low. That's good.
6.
6.
Oh,
That's good.
way to go.
All right.
Do I take the 2 harm
So
still?
you take the 2 harm.
Well, that still puts me back to 6, which is
Oh,
another mortal injury.
Oh, no.
I feel weird about it. I do have a healing move. I just never use it because we don't like...
We never fight anything?
What?
You don't have to tell me, my friend.
Well, I just don't like... I don't know
So
how...
just take 1.
Okay.
So he doesn't die?
So I don't think you would have died necessarily.
But... Yeah. this isn't a pleasant experience. So I don't.
Ooh, I think you guys see, like in the noble quarter, like a plume of smoke going in the direction where you're heading.
Ooh, yeah.
And it's kind of ominous, and maybe you guys quicken your pace as people are like, again? Twice in a day! People are like very upset that like now they're like, and now it's right here!
A large part of me wants to be like, Yoko Osako said this wouldn't happen.
She has opposite powers.
Just to drove a little bit more.
So yeah, I think that this place is pretty quickly kind of like on fire, and maybe like several like burning boards maybe like fall on you. You're kind of pinned under them briefly, and that's how you get kind of messed up. And you feel somebody yank you out of that place.
Okay.
And you're just staring at somebody who has this scarred eye.
Oh no!
Son of a bitch! He beat us. How did he beat us there? We had a conversation.
He left 2 seconds before you.
What the fuck?
That's why I said this scene will probably get interrupted. I figured it would be interrupted by you guys arriving. I was going to have him show up and talk to Yugare, but I can change that up.
Got ahead of them a little bit.
And he says, like,
he's got like a fucking 6 cents for finding shit.
Yeah, and I think this guy just says,
shit than we are.
This guy looks down at you, and again, he's got both of his eyes, but one has a big scar on it, and it's got like a cataract-esque milkiness to it. This guy stares down at you and says, and he just says, like, I guess you're all in over your head.
I think, and Yugare like looks back up at him, and like the fire sparks in his eyes, but he just like looks. Yugare looks completely like defeated. Like obviously, like just got pulled out of the fire, but he's just like it had to be this place had to be destroyed.
And he says, "What was the best thing you could have done?"
I think Yugare takes solace in that. He's like, "Thank you."
And I think, and this guy, this guy grabs your face for a second, like you grab like a misbehaving child, like that kind of deal. And he just like looks at you for a long time, like way closer than appropriate. And then he just kind of like lets you go. And you realize his clothes are almost all made of leather, which is something that's real gross. So I tried to find like the equivalent. I tried to find the equivalent in our culture of what that would be, and the only thing I could think of.
Gaga's meat dress.
It might be a meat dress, or if you were like, oh yeah, this outfit is just made out of human hair, which is not an insane thing, and in some cultures people actually do that. But like,
what's weird that we distinguish between animals, but if you said like cat leather or dog leather or something, like
that's true. That'd be pretty creepy and weird.
Because it's not just the aspect. It's not just the idea that it's gross. Like there's that, but there's also the idea that it's spiritually somehow unclean. And like, oh, what's wrong? Like this person is a sicko.
You say he was wearing like a ton of jade too.
Yeah, he's also wearing like a lot of jade, like jewelry, and he has in addition to his eye, he also that's got that big scar on it. The other big facial feature of his is he has like an inch wide circle of red, like painted on his forehead, and I think
tattoo or painted.
I think it's just painted on. In most of the images of I think they call them Sukai Sagasu, they have like white, almost kabuki-looking makeup, and then that as well. This guy just has that, and I'd say like it looks like he put that on several days ago, and it's like kind of crusting off and that kind of thing. This guy's pretty gross, and I think he kind of like goes to. There's a horse nearby.
Okay.
He kind of hops on the horse to leave. It's just like a regular Rokugan pony, and he turns back and says, "Did you find what you were looking for?"
No, found only one answer among many.
And he says, "That's for the better."
As the house burns down.
Yeah, the house is like, there are firefighters like showing up to put this out, but this house is going to be, you've now seen enough fire here. There are not a lot of Thunder Guard that show up. No. Like it takes a while, and the number that show up are not enough to put this out, and this house definitely burns down. There's bits of it still standing. They make sure no other buildings burn down, but there's close calls, like probably some embers pick up on another place, and then there's a fire there that they got to put out. but nobody else is hurt.
Well, Yugare's weak, but he intended initially, before he kind of screwed himself over, to help the firefighters.
Mm-hmm.
Like, yeah, I need to burn this place, but I don't want it to spread. I don't want to cause a big problem. And I'm responsible for this. I've got to help the firefighters.
Okay.
So, especially since they've got a skeleton crew, and especially in terms of like keeping it from spreading to other houses, Yugare is helping as much as he can in his slightly incapacitated state.
Do you admit to them that you did that? That you were the one responsible for it?
I'm not going to bring it up.
Okay.
I'll bring it up.
All right. Oof. Okay. You guys arrive as a somewhat singed and beat up looking Yugare is standing in front of this house. A few Thunder Guard kind of run up to help put the fire out. There's a now like blazing estate. Soshi Seiryoku's the house just on fire, and that's what all that smoke you saw coming from was.
You alright? What happened?
This place was unholy, could not stay.
Burned it down?
I think I've got a bucket of water and I'd like toss it on some fire or something instead of answering.
Well,
and I think you can see, like my robe or whatever is like singed across my legs and like probably part of it's burned off.
Well, we have to. Should we just leave this to to Kuni, the witch hunter, or should we go find him? Because this is This is who you think caused the fire in the barge.
This is where the darkest darkest evil of the city sprung forth. What I think Yugare will ask about the witch hunter, because you said his name.
Mm-hmm.
I briefly met him. But yeah, he pulled me out of the fire.
Oh, so he's
He says to stay away from this, but it is our duty.
I called for help. Moon, you mean? Lunar cave? On the lunar cave thing. I don't know what to call it. You need to give these things
bird.
Besides making the investigations names, not just oh, he came down with the bird demon thing. That sounds even worse. I wrote a letter asking for his help, but he has been anything but cordial during this whole thing.
Perhaps we'll see what darkness he uncovers.
Perhaps maybe it is best to let him work,
but we have our own duties to pursue as well.
What duties? Which should be
evils spreading throughout
the city.
The city cannot be ignored by anyone who seeks to uphold the emperor's domain.
He's but one man, and there are many things going on in the city, and we can't just let the magical burning of a barge. I mean, we have to at least try to find out what do you think, Audrey? Should we just leave him be?
Chase after a person that probably isn't here. This house hasn't been lived in for a while.
I mean, should we continue the investigation as a whole, or should we just drop it in favor? We don't know.
He warned me not to get in. I don't want to get in his way. I think he told Yugare the same thing.
Well, then I guess we let him do his duty for now, but I must I'll do my best to follow up and see what he finds. I'll have to let Mr. Saka, the governor, I suppose, know that he's working in the city so that he's not accosted.
Should you tell them?
I don't know. I mean, I kind of assumed I kind of thought that was the best way to make it so that he wouldn't be arrested.
He can take care of himself.
Once I know that the family's safe, I'm gonna seek out Yugare, I guess. So maybe back to the magistrates' residence.
Okay, so just looking for him.
Yeah,
sure. Do you want to meet up with all these guys or just him specifically?
Either one works. I think Taiyo wants to talk to Yugare. That can happen before or after.
All right. So, what maybe Yugare's cleaning himself up. That probably is something that needs to happen.
Yeah.
For a while, you got to definitely change your clothes. You're pretty beat up.
Yeah.
And in the midst of that, Taiyo comes knocking. Maybe we see you. One of the servants comes and tells you "Oh, Taiyo-sama's arrived and wants to meet with you," and you're in a bathtub or something like that. In one part of the private kind of part of the suite where you used to
Oh yeah.
live. Oh, I think Yeah, these would possibly have their own separate little, like... Would there be a separate bathtub, or there just be one for the house? Yeah, this is like a medieval-esque society. There's probably just one of these for the house. And so, anyway...
A bathing area?
Yeah.
Is taking it all up.
Right.
I just got pulled out of a fire. Give a guy a break.
Yeah, so he's behind kind of one of these screens, and you're kind of in this area. You've been here before, and there's nothing real exciting or fancy in the area where you're sitting on the other side of this screen. And meanwhile, on the other side, you're just in this big kind of tub of water that the servants will periodically be like, "Oh, do you need more hot water?"
Nah.
There's the scene. Taiyo on one side of this changing screen, Yugare in a big round tub of
like those
steaming water.
trifold things?
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Like
okay.
a shoji screen, I think is what they're called.
Yeah.
Taiyo. Hello. So I apologize I can't greet you more formally.
I think I'm the one who needs to apologize. What happened in that house?
I just got bounced. I don't know what's going on.
A dark kami that seeks blood is stalking the streets of the city, and I believe it was summoned in that house. Apologize, but I could not abide it to stand.
Again, no apology needed.
You're cool,
Were you able? You banished it then?
You took care of the problem, right?
I don't know the nature of the spirit. The best I could do was remove the place it was summoned. I can only hope that my fire cleansed it in some way.
Okay. Makes a face. Well, I don't know if it was hallucination or what, but I saw just that urn was. I just described that like they're full of fingers, and I swore that they were my wife and my boys, and I had to make sure that they were okay.
Are they okay?
They seem so, but I don't know if they should. I told Yugare I don't know if they should stay for the winter. I think I asked you before if you could make sure they were both. They both had clean souls, my sons. Just seeing what I saw come out of that urn, and just I think I want, if you can, just as soon as possible. I don't think I can even wait for their birthday. I want to make sure they're both as innocent as they appear and as clean from these evils of the city.
Of course, I can do my best. I must admit, I feel small in the midst of the encroaching darkness.
You're not the only one.
I fear my power is not enough to protect the city or fulfill my duty, but I must try. And for your sons, I believe I can at least do that much.
Maybe tonight then?
Of course.
And I think I'm not sure what comes over you when you have visions, but I have distinct feelings or premonitions that we should probably talk about with the rest of the magistrates when everyone's ready to.
What premonitions are you speaking of?
I think I will go into the. I'm trying not to make the scene go super long, but just basically, I felt that my mind just kept going back to what was said in the dossier that Seiryokyu was suspected Miosukai, and I know she has fierce rivalries with Korichika and the governor. And after this, the supernatural attack on this barge outside the city, wondering if that was this Seiryokyu or whatever she summoned.
I think we join Aji at a sake house, and you're kind of going through your regular thing, just going to find some place to hang out. And when you show up, people seem very hesitant to serve you. So you come in, and there's almost the feeling like they're not gonna let you in to some of these sake houses. These are places you've definitely been before.
Today's different.
It's in Teardrop, or
I think this is in the. It could be either on Teardrop Island or in the Merchant Quarter. Either one.
All right. I'd get a drink anyway.
I think that they might. They're almost like no one's coming up to speak with you. You're almost kind of being ignored.
Cool. So I'm gonna stand there awkwardly until just grab a worker.
Okay.
Forcibly with my hand and stop him. Like, What's going on here?
Like, and eventually somebody who's like the owner of the place will come out. The merchant who's the owner of this sake house will show up and be like, oh Lord, Aji, is there a problem?
Isn't that my line? Is there a problem here with me?
And they say, oh, would you like a drink?
Yes. What is taking so long?
And he'll kind of quietly say, there's the matter of your tab.
What are you talking about?
And he says, you and your friend had come in here so often, and we'd extended you, in deference to your position, more credit than we normally would. And I'm afraid we need that. This is a sake house, and we'll need money to buy more drinks to make sure that anything that's broken is fixed. I know. I mean no disrespect, but it's significant.
Significance is only a matter of perspective.
It's another 5 wells.
Of course, my lord. I'm sure that to you it's nothing at all.
If it's nothing at all, then
oh my God! You have become the man you murdered.
So he says, I'm sure it's nothing to you, but to the humble people here, it's rather sizable.
And what would happen if you don't get the money?
And he says, I'm sure that wouldn't be, and I'm sure it wouldn't be any kind of problem for yourself, my lord, as great as you are.
Why, of course. I was just entertain me of the thought of what would happen to you, maybe your family.
Ooh, are you threatening this guy?
Yes.
Hold on. So, are you threatening him bodily right now? Or anyone right now, like, with violence?
Are you going to stab this man? Would you stab him? That's the only question you have to answer. Would you stab him, or would you?
If he keeps pressing on, then yes. He is pressing on, right?
Yeah.
Damn.
So this is a manipulate roll in this case, rather than a threaten. No, you would actually.
You would beat them.
Okay.
Physically with fist beat.
Okay, yeah. So then that's a threaten with violence. Or threaten violence is the name of the move.
Violence isn't intimidated.
I got an 8.
You got an 8.
Horrible man, full of violence. Call the guards up.
Tell you what.
Yeah, threaten with violence. They can tell you what they think they want you to. That's already.
Oh, they can instead choose.
So, this guy says, "Oh, of course, Lord. There wouldn't be any problem for someone such as yourself. I apologize for even bringing it up." And this guy kind of bows away and says, perhaps I spoke out of turn. And he bows. He kind of scoots away.
Drink.
So is this a place where you want to stay?
No, I'll leave.
Okay.
Not feeling this place.
Mm-hmm.
It's got a weird vibe to it.
Everything got so weird after the opium shortage.
I'll say that you go to several other places and you get kind of somewhat similar treatment. Like you'll go to another place and they'll say they'll talk with you about your tab and mention how it's very sizable.
Just remember, that one place was like, oh, you never have to worry about a tab with us, sir. You're just great. You're A+.
Is this the first time they ever mentioned of a tab?
Ooh, why don't you go ahead and read a situation on that one? There we go. Pretty good.
9.
Just a 9?
Yep.
Okay.
Is it the first time? My question is it the first time they asked about a tab?
All right, here's how I'm going to ask for that. What should you be on the lookout for?
Yeah.
All right. So, for the most part, most people had not mentioned that at all to you. And then you're noticing the different places you go, and it's a little tough to remember because you're usually drinking or sometimes smoking on those nights. These are all places you went with Ogai. And you're realizing the amount of money that they're saying that you owe them is they're saying basically all of Ogai's debts have seemed to be now. A lot of these merchants view you as the one responsible for paying those debts. And Ogai didn't just disappear. It's being brought up now, though.
I see.
So you're kind of being put on the hook for the money that he owed to these folks. And if you remember, the reason he was even allowed in was because you were with him.
Have I received a letter from whatever city about the ambush thing we're setting up?
Absolutely.
Thank God, because it's been like 8 months. We've been trying this thing for pretty much session 2. We've been like, we should do this. It's been a while.
Yeah, Asako Anjo says, essentially, and you described the whole game plan that you guys had, right?
Yeah, no, I literally was like, oh yeah, this thing got stolen. Mm-hmm. Here's the whole game plan.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry for like having fucked this up.
And he says we can provide you with a new seal, and by that he means a newer one. So it won't even be the old one; it'll be a yet newer one.
Oh,
that's good.
Right. So it won't just be a remake of the one that you previously had. So theoretically, documents printed with this can be not only supersede, but you can tell them apart. Like one would be marked as that was the one that was stolen, and he'll basically say, and we'll try in the coming months to get other seals out to other Emerald Magistrates. You'll have to meet me for the seal. The Emerald Champion isn't going to be able to head back to Kaiyo Nakoma for some time, but I can meet you or your colleagues.
Isn't it like you really can't travel?
Yeah, travel during the winter is tough. Kaiyo Nakoma is closer.
So we'd have to do it like now.
So I think...
We'll do it really soon.
I think his suggestion would be... his suggestion is either, like, if we don't do it very soon, like basically winter's approaching and it could get pretty bad. Travel will be a big pain in the butt. It would be best, particularly prime time when bandits might assault someone, if we did this either very soon or we waited till after winter in the spring with the thaws, and then we could do that. So he's basically saying if we don't do this soon, we're gonna have to wait for a bit. You're good. I just was worried that was wrong. An interesting thing that you notice is this was directed. Other things had previously been directed to either the group or to Taiyo, and this was directed to you.
Good. Well, I was going to say, I'll need that in the coming months. I'm going to have to write back, suggesting that we do it as soon as possible. The last thing we need is the bandits calling for more supplies during the winter while they're camped out in foothills. That's the last thing we need.
Okay. So you're going to send that?
I'm going to have to send that out, and then I'm going to go talk to Jojo and be like, buddy, need those soldiers.
Okay.
So it's a thing I got.
I'm going to tell you, and we can instead turn this into something else. Jocho's super hard to find. Yeah, it's just like whenever you're talking to people, they're always kind of like, we'll take a message, we'll send you something as soon as he's free. Like he's dealing with, he's basically like, he's really busy right now.
Real Thunderguard.
Mm-hmm. And real Thunderguard work, fighting off demons in the foothills. Well, I'm gonna have to, I gotta find him. I have to search for him. I have to I don't know if investigating to find him would be the right thing.
You could probably do
something.
You could probably do a read a situation. If
I have to find him. I can't. This isn't working. I have to be able to talk to the leader of the guard. So if that's read a situation. That's an 11.
Pretty good.
And some questions are, where the fuck's Jojo, actually, my question is, what should I be on the lookout for?
What should you be on the lookout for? Okay, and this is kind of... I'm sorry if you feel railroaded at all by this, but I wanted a way to bring this up. So you're going around and you're talking to these different places and talking to different Thunderguard. And you can pick pieces of this together through your conversations through them.
Okay. Jojo did.
What should you be on the lookout for? The Thunderguard were, and the fires were set. They will eventually let on that magic was used. That they think that magic was used not only to set those fires, but some kind of illusion was created, and they ended up fighting themselves.
It's pretty sick. I wouldn't be on that magic man side. Probably not because his name's
when you saw those guys were all beaten up, they'd been fighting one another. Yeah.
All right. So they were fighting.
Different units of Thunderguard attacked one another.
Okay.
So yeah, and they're a lot of them are very scared because they're convinced this is some kind of very powerful magic.
Wait, that's Soshi's, the family's whole shtick, right? Of illusion magic?
Air magic would fall under... illusion magic would fall under the air, at least in the old LFIR system stuff. Absolutely.
Aren't they known for being like... They're like the Soshi actors or something?
Those are the Shosuro who are the actors, but...
Is that not her family?
That's Hyobu's family.
Oh.
Yeah, what... They're the Soshi...
They're air Shigenjas, and they...
My bad.
One of the families was...
They probably would most be involved in that, yeah. And also a lot of, like... If we were playing a more L5RE game where it was like, explore all of these crazy things, which shockingly, this isn't 100%. They're the ones who deal with stuff with, like shadows that are alive and stuff like that. Yeah, you're right. I'm like, we're not going too far off of the regular beaten path here.
Yeah, I know. You said that, and like, every single person has seen, interacted with, or like lived with the
I felt like I should take it back the moment I said it.
Like, you just shit, that was a little extra. So super powerful magic's going on. Who's in control here? Like, there's no commanding officers anywhere. Who's in control here? If I can't find Jojo, Yoga's just sitting in her damn office.
Yeah, who's in control here? Who? I mean, the Shosuro family, Hyobu and Jocho are still in control nominally, but that is a tenuous control.
Yeah.
And one of the things that you noticed as you kind of went through a lot of the old section of the Noble Quarter, but also as you've kind of gone about through other areas, you see a lot of samurai with the Bayushimon in this city.
Really?
Mm-hmm. So you see a lot more. You see a lot more of them than had been around before, and so while not in control, their presence is something to note.
All right, and I have a singular extra question, which is not enough. What's the best way into meeting JoJo? It's not. That's kind of a stretch.
So,
what's the best way to find this thing? Because I mean, my God, it's a big city, but still.
Yeah, I think it's gonna sound lame, but just today was not the day to have a meeting with him.
Damn it, JoJo.
It's basically that. As lame as that sounds.
Son of a bitch.
Come back tomorrow.
Kind of.
Running out of fall.
I think that if you send a message about setting up a meeting to talk about something with him, especially talk about something that seems unrelated to all this stuff, it might be easier. So that way, if you basically this, you were not looked at super fondly at various times for. You look back at your interaction with the Thunder Guard earlier when you were out of the fields. You even remember a bunch of conversations you had with people, and basically if you seem like you're not prying, but instead asking for a favor, that's the best way, because you're not trying to figure out their stuff. You're instead giving them leverage on you by helping you.
I swear to God. All right.
Yeah, and that's probably what you think. You're like, I am dealing with scorpions. I guess the only way to get their attention is to
give
look weak.
To look weak. Yeah.
That's what I've been doing. Where to God?
You're doing very well.
Yeah, you done great, bro. You done well. I guess I'll have to just send a message to him asking for a favor. Send a message Jojo-sama or whatever. You're still not really great on the cold greetings. Time is of the utmost importance. It would be large. I would be in debt to you if you would please help me with securing a new seal that's to be transported before winter. Please contact me the nearest time that we can meet, and put a lot of urgency.
Go for it. What's Yugare up to?
I want to do some cleansing rituals on Taiyo's sons.
All right.
So one of my moves lets me spend time to meditate and draw out a powerful spirit, which basically lets me use one of those moves from one of those elemental kami abilities, one of which is a kami of water will cleanse corruption and disease and poison from a person. Poison and disease is removed. Shadowlands is reduced by 1 taint, which sounds basically like I mean, I don't think it's going to have a mechanical effect unless they really do have taint on them, but that's kind of like what you wanted, right? Just have them cleansed.
Say that again?
You wanted your sons to be, like, purified, right? Is that what you're asking for? You don't sound sure.
Yeah.
I mean, this is kind of like a mechanical way that it's phrased in this ability, whereas I think it was more just like a general feel-good ritual thing you want.
What we could do this as is almost more of a narrative scene where you have more. You can make this role, and depending on that, you can kind of go through that stuff. Since this is a thing in your character's background that like we haven't paid much attention to till now, and B haven't come up with any kind of like mechanics directly connected to it. Mm-hmm. And at this point in the game, I don't want to throw a thing in there.
Yeah.
Just at the moment, but then depending on this role, it could change up.
Yeah, well, one or a couple things I wanted to do was not tell my wife about it.
Oh, okay.
And also maybe meet Yugare at the magistrate's place instead of in my house.
Sure. So you bring these kids to the magistrate's place?
Yeah.
All right. Does Ample come with you, or he's staying behind with...
Nope.
Okay.
That's all fine. Although Yugare will probably ask, "Oh, where's your wife?" It seems weird that you travel with your. Usually, you're all together when you're with your kids.
Yeah, and also this is like nighttime.
It's like I'm tired, man. How do you do this? I'll do like 3 of them.
What? I wanted to expedite.
Can I read him?
Sure.
But do you want the XP?
Yeah.
Sure.
Just reminding you. Figured you would.
Yeah. What 6?
7, 8.
All right.
Is your character telling the truth?
About what? Oh, about expedite? No.
All right. Well, I just got one. So.
All right. So, what does this ritual usually involve?
Oh, yeah. I will ask that in character to help you out.
Go for it.
What does this ritual involve?
I think Yugare probably answers with too much information that isn't informative.
Mm-hmm.
Like, a lot of the different spirits operate under different domains and manipulate different aspects of our lives, and the water kami will cleanse corruption, and meanwhile he's like setting up, so maybe there are like candles, and so he's just like going on about lore while setting up like candles, and maybe there's like
Soft jazz.
soft jazz. Keep it lit. Of course, there are like probably like torches or whatever from the house itself, so that it's lit up toward the building. But we're kind of like in this twilight. Maybe the moon is not full, but bright still.
Okay.
I'm thinking about how confused these children are right now.
Oh yeah.
What the fuck?
I think they periodically will be like, it's cold. Like I'm cold.
And it's past their bedtime.
I'm sleepy. Yeah.
Maybe I don't know what Taiyo would want to do, but maybe they won't like falling asleep. And Taio's like, you have to stay awake. And Yugare's like, no, let them ride the the flow of some water metaphor.
The dream waves, baby.
Yeah. All right. So I just spent time. So we're gonna be here a little while. Technically, I think I would need to roll for each of them. I don't know if we want to. Let's do one at a time.
Let's just do one roll.
Let's just do one roll. That's what I meant.
Rolls are important.
All right. So 9 plus
Nice.
2, 11. All right. So 11. That means I get to choose one from the rank 2 move and one from the rank 3 move. I'm going to choose from the rank 3 move to cleanse corruption and disease and poison from a person. Poison and disease is removed. Shadowlands is reduced by 1 taint. And I don't think the rank 2 move is super relevant, so I'm just not even going to worry about it.
All right. So, would this ritual tell you if there was some kind of corruption there?
It doesn't say so. I think that's up to you. But it doesn't indicate that it would necessarily.
Okay. Yeah. This ritual goes off kind of without anything too dramatic going on. Yeah, you kind of go through that. What's like the last step in the ritual that you do with these kids?
Wake them up, dry them off.
Okay.
And I want to say that there was like you said, nothing like dramatic happened, but maybe the water was moving. Like, is it raining? There were drops, and then each of the buckets. Like, not really sure. Maybe something's about to happen, but no. And then Yugare, it kind of comes out of the meditation. It's like it's done, and then you go to collect your children, and they're both not like soaked, but like wet.
Weird.
And I think they're like,
Oh, it's very humid out, I guess.
And they call you, would they call you like dad or father or something like that? Papa. They're like, oh, Papa, it's cold.
Yeah, we get that.
Okay. So, and one of them says like,
Oh, maybe we should get dry first because
Yeah.
it's wintry.
yeah. So one of them's like, I didn't like that. It was too cold. But they're 3 years old, so it's kind of like babbly.
Yeah.
But they're like, would they just call him like your friend or Yugare or okay?
I don't know how close they were to.
Yeah.
I mean, now they've been going to school together, right? For some amount of time.
Right.
Maybe like Ichi and Nee's dad.
Sure. They're like, that was strange. I didn't like it. It was too cold. And one of them brings up like, I didn't like that. I didn't know what he was doing. I didn't know what he was saying. And one says like that lady was weird. And they're like who was that lady? And what happened to that tree? And you look over, and both of you look over, and that tree that had been in bloom is just dead.
The red tree?
Mm-hmm. It's now like totally dead, but not like a barren tree that like, oh, the leaves fell off. It's just like they've all like kind of shriveled up and they've died. City of Lies is Tone as Kakita Aji, Brandon as Hida Ishii, David as Bayushi Taiyo, Andrew as Agasha Yugare, and Austin as your game master. The theme music for City of Lies is Mission of Danger by Lobo Loco. Additional music for this episode includes Shadow Man by Lobo Loco, Evening Fly of the Brants, also by Lobo Loco, and Q5, Dark, Somber, Sad, Spooky Ambient by Solaflare. The intro for this episode was done by Scott. This American Dice Ryoko Owari City of Lies uses the City of Lies box set by Greg Stolz, published by Alderac Entertainment Group. The mechanics used is a modified PBTA system by Brendan Taylor of Galileo Games. Join us next time for more This American Dice.
It's like a horse demon, but much bigger.
It was near a bird in one scene. I noticed the bird didn't have anything to do with that aspect. It was merely window dressing.
But it doesn't matter. That's what's going to define that demon for the rest of the game.
It'd be like if that show ER was called Street because there was a street that the hospital was on. I gotcha. By the way, my voice might not stay this way because it's real rough to do for a long time. Anyway, he has a raspy, gruff voice.
Understood.
This is Cable.
Yeah, it's Cable, and he's like,
Yeah, it's good.
Professor Xavier's my dad or something.
What?
No, maybe
The
I'm
only person that's not
Scott-
dead.
Everybody's my dad,
Except for Professor.
except for Professor Xavier.
Thank you.
Hold on, I got big muscles.
Well, it makes sense that there'd be another alternate reality version of Cable.
I'm alternate Cable. I have only one dad, and it's Professor Xavier. I have small muscles.
Would it be Wolverine? Would be his dad in the alternate.
I'm another alternate Cable. I am Wolverine's dad.
This is all mostly fresh toilet paper.